It's 41-8, West Virginia. And the Mountaineers will kick it off to start the second half against the Nittany Lions with Gary Brown and Leroy Thompson set deep to return it. Thompson, 15, 20, 25, down at the 28-yard line. Short time ago, John Dockery caught up with Coach Don Nealon as he came out of the Mountaineer locker room.
Coach, in your wildest dreams, did you ever imagine a half like this?
Not really, John, but I'm smart enough to know we got 41, they can get 41. If they get 41, they beat us, so we're starting all over.
So he told them it's nothing, and let's go from there. And the Mountaineer defense out on the field, and we'll track this one now carefully for you. Missouri upsetting Nebraska, second half, 15-14. Oklahoma fans interested in that one. On first down, Sacco with time, gets away from Turnbull, scrambles, and steps out at the 30-yard line.
One of the biggest adjustments a high school quarterback has to make, and remember Tony Sacco was playing as a senior in high school just a year ago, is to be able to find that second receiver, because in college football the receivers get covered very, very quickly, and he's got to find a way to dump the ball off, avoid a loss.
David Daniels and Timpson go wide to the left. They'll run right straight ahead with Brown. First down for Penn State. Darrell Whitmore bringing him down.
Penn State rushing yards, really tough to run against this West Virginia defense. But remember, they've had to throw the ball a lot because they've been behind so much, and that's what the freshman Sacco faces. A big deficit. He's going to have to put the ball up, come up with some big plays.
Daniels and Timpson again to the left. Brown and Redmond are the running backs. They move Young, the tight end, to the left. Brown again steps inside, tries to follow a block, and he is down at the line of scrimmage with Chris Herring and a Old Mays, number 49 and 3, all over him.
And we have been calling Chris Herring's number all afternoon. He has done a sensational job of not crossing his legs, coming down the line of the scrimmage, and watch Herring, he's right in here. See how he's keyed in? Look at his eyes. Doesn't cross the legs, comes right down the scrimmage, fights off a block, fights off 2 blocks, and then makes the tackle. 5 tackles on the day for Herring.
Second and long. Sacco. Timpson couldn't hold it and went out of bounds with Whitmore, number 11, pushing him out of bounds here on the near side. That's the first half. 421 yards for the Mountaineers. 5:54 is the West Virginia record for a single game. Third down and 10 now. Timpson on the right side of Sacco. Pressure up the middle. Sacco flushed, trying to run out of trouble, throws it incomplete, out of bounds on the run. Not taking the loss of yardage, but there is a penalty flag down at midfield. There's a flag on the play.
Will be against West Virginia.
That's that illegal participation call that we had in the first half. Did they try it with 12 defenders too?
Illegal participation, defense, 12 men on the field.
It's a very popular defense this afternoon in Morgantown. The old 12th man theme.
I love it. I love it. Again, what West Virginia is doing is coming with inside pressure by the linebackers and flushing Sacco out, making him throw the ball on the run.
With a score of 41-8, you really should be playing with 10. That's not fair. First and 10 now for Penn State. Ball is at the 45. Young over to the right side. Timpson and Daniels are the wide men for Sacco. Saka rolls in that direction. Incomplete, and there's another penalty marker down at the 40.
I think once the tight end moves over on an unbalanced line, as number 80, Todd Young, did, he is an ineligible receiver. And he released and went downfield.
That's the signal.
Penn State has come out in this second half and run a lot of unbalanced lines so far. They'll shift the tight end over, but once he does that, he cannot go downfield.
Second half searching for a rhythm. Back-to-back penalties.
Ineligible receiver, down the field, offense. First down.
Ball is brought back to midfield. It's 1st and 15 for the Nittany Lions. 27 is Gary Brown. He's the tailback. That's Timpson coming into the slot on the right. They run and get to the 45-yard line with Thuron Ellis bringing him down, and Brown with a gain that will leave them with 2nd and long. Let's check in with Jim Nance in New York.
Well, Brent, 5th-ranked Nebraska has moved back in front of Missouri. Chris Drennan with a 29-yard field goal puts the Cornhuskers in front. 44 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Nebraska leads. Let's go back to Brent.
A little order restored in that one, and here it's 41-8 West Virginia. Now Saka with time drops it off to Redmond, and the fullback is short of the 1st down as Thuron Ellis, number 66. He has been all over the place defensively for Neely.
And Ellis has done a great job of playing inside linebacker today. Number 66, he moved from outside linebacker a year ago into the inside, and that's a tough adjustment. Doesn't sound like much, but you have to be much more physical. Things happen a lot quicker on the inside, and he's one of the few guys who's been able to make that adjustment without much problem.
3rd and short. Redmond and Brown, the running backs, and Saka to put it up. Scrambling to the right, has time, incomplete. A great defensive play by Willie Edwards, number 47, a hometown boy from Morgantown. In very good coverage. A tough thing when a quarterback is scrambling is to be able to maintain the coverage, but Edwards, number 47, does a great job of knocking the ball away from David Jacob. Now Daniels couldn't hold on. Was it interference?
It looked like he may have gone through with the left hand before he knocked the ball out with his right.
Can't touch any part of that face mask, and it was close. 4th and short. Penn State trailing will have to go, and Gash is short. And actually, Saka did not give it to the fullback. He was touchdown, and the Mountaineers take it over on downs.
A big play inside by number 25, Drumgoole. An option play with Saka. The first time we've seen Penn State run the option play. And this is what West Virginia did in the first half. Marvelous maintenance of their drives. You can see the touchdown, too. They're not kicking many field goals, getting the ball into the end zone and going a long way to do so.
Marvelous maintenance. Is that like pretty darn good? Harris rolling to the right now, being chased, and he is down at the 29 as Quintus McDonald, number 92, hauls him down.
Only the 7th sack of Major Harris this year, and Quintus McDonald is a guy who has really come on the last couple of weeks for Penn State, and today they're using him on both sides. Ordinarily he lines up over the tight end, but he's playing some to the open side today and made a nice sack there.
He's the leading sacker on this Penn State team, senior from Montclair, New Jersey. Well, there is an inactive right leg. Lance Carrion hasn't had to punt yet today. Now they hand off, and Brown blasts his way to the 34-yard line, and D'Onofrio, number 38, bringing him down.
Carrion's worried about getting the letter. He may not get one.
Harris waits for the play, being delivered by number 15, Lamont, one of his wide receivers. Win the tight end. Brown is the tailback. Taylor is the fullback. Bell and Lamont are wide. Harris stepping up. Down he goes. He tried to backpedal, and he slipped and went down, the ball being spotted at the 26-yard line. And this is the worst looking drive so far, and Carrion onto the field for his first punt. 10-man front for Penn State. He'll hit it at about the 15, low. That's what inactivity will do to you. Out of bounds near midfield. Good field position for Penn State. So when we come back, they'll have the ball at midfield after a 25-yard punt. From Mountaineer Field, West Virginia stalking a national championship. Unbeaten and blasting Penn State 41-8. And here in Morgantown, this is the 7th game of the NBA Finals. The Phantom of the Opera, the Super Bowl, all wrapped into one. A new stadium record, 3,500 standing room only. And on first down, Leroy Thompson, the ball carrier for the Nittany Lions. And he makes his way near the 45-yard line. It'll be a second down for Penn State.
One of the players in on the tackle there was 47, Willie Edwards, and he's a guy I have some admiration for. One of those guys who's kept football in perspective, came here to get an education, will graduate in May with a degree in psychology.
Saka over the middle, Timpson, incomplete.
One of the things that Penn State is trying to do a little bit differently is throw some shorter routes to take some of the heat off of Saka, because he was under some duress in the first half. And the receiver seemed to be running shorter routes. He's trying to dump the ball. That time, he didn't have much success, though.
Third down for Saka and Penn State. Timpson comes out to the right, and Daniels to his left. Rolling right and being chased. Deflected and incomplete. The ball was hit by Drumgoole, number 25.
And he hurt himself going down, and they have two strong safeties hurt now. Watch Drumgoole, who times this jump perfectly. This is an art in itself. The strong safety, again, sees that the ball is going to get over his head, but times it just right and makes a very athletic play, comes down funny on his left leg and grabs his left knee. It already lost Bo Orlando.
Orlando, one of their senior leaders in that secondary. Drumgoole stepped in last week against Boston College and did a fine job. And while he's being tended to, let's check in with Jim Nantz in New York.
Well, Brent, from 55 yards out, final play of the game, Texas going for the win against Texas Tech, but Wayne Clements misses the long-distance field goal, and Tech comes back from a 32-15 deficit to drop the Longhorns to 3-4 on the season. Let's go back to Morgantown.
Wild one in the Southwest. Arkansas, still the class of that conference and headed toward the Cotton Bowl. Now Helkowski to punt. And they run the fake this time with Collins, the linebacker, and he gets a first down for Penn State.
You know, Brett, the amazing thing to me about that, West Virginia was expecting a fake. They were not in a rush defense. Look how many guys are back. But it was just well blocked and then run well by Andre Collins, a linebacker who is a converted strong safety, so he has some speed.
Bobby Bowden sent that play up.
I'll always remember that play.
All of us will. We still haven't seen it. First and 10. Ball is at the 26-yard line. Gash and Thompson, the running backs. Saka, the freshman, behind the center. Thompson, here comes the end around. Here's Timpson inside the 20-yard line and down at the 19, hit hard by Robert Pickett, number 45. Joe Paterno with a little razzle-dazzle here.
Not a bad call when you're going into a score, because a team has a tendency to overreact. They thought they could come up with a big play with Timpson, but some people on the backside stayed at home, and it didn't turn out to be a tremendously big play.
Trailing 41-8, Paterno opening it up. Fake punt. End around with his world-class speed. Gash and Thompson still the running backs. Saka to throw it. Going toward Timpson and over his head and out of bounds. He was covered by Mays.
And that's real good coverage by Alvord Mays, number 3. He felt the wide receiver was going to run the deep route and just ran right back with him and didn't give Saka any room to make the throw.
So Marshall, West Virginia, number 2 in Division I AA. They are unbeaten, following the leadership of the Mountaineers in this state over Appalachian State, 30-27. Now 3rd down and short. Here's Thompson. Stacked up. No hole. Couldn't find his daylight. It'll be 4th down for the Nittany Lions, and trailing 41-8. They'll undoubtedly go for it in this situation.
One thing about this West Virginia defense, they can afford to take some chances, blitz people, play man-for-man defense, because their offense is so good and they put so many points on the board. It's a new philosophy for this defense. They'll really come after you with blitzes and man-for-man defense.
They have 2 yards to go against Neyland's defense. And the coach got the crowd going. Gash is the fullback. The toss is to Thompson behind Gash for the 1st down, and he's to the 14-yard line. Whitmore, one of the defenders, coming up to hit him. And Ellis also in on the stop.
Nice block on the left side by Jonathan, Eric Jonathan, number 74, who really led the way for Thompson to pick up the 1st down.
1st and 10 for Penn State inside the 15-yard line. Jacob is 86, the tight end. Young is the other tight end. Saka off a play fake to Thompson. Wants Timpson. Throws to him, incomplete, and Whitmore is there again. That 1st-year player out of Front Royal, Virginia, with great potential.
And again, he does a real nice job of playing center field, reading the quarterback's eyes, and then reacting. He felt the receiver was open, waited to the last moment, and then made the burst to knock the ball away. That's a great play by Whitmore.
5'11", 178. Good size for the corner man, and that great speed that you look for. 2nd and 10 now for the Nittany Lions. This is Thompson to the 11-yard line with Pickett, number 45, hanging on.
Leroy Thompson carried the ball.
8 different players have carried the ball for Joe Paterno's Penn State team, including Wisniewski, an offensive guard, and a linebacker, Collins, and Timpson, a wide receiver. But still, they haven't been able to get the ball in the end zone much.
Redmond brings the play in. Daniels and Smith come to the right side. A slot to the right for Saka. Saka under pressure, steps away. Now being pursued, just does drop it off, and it is dropped by Brown inside the 5. And Saka was close to going past the line of scrimmage. So here at Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia, leading Penn State 41-8 with 6:13 to go in the 3rd quarter, and a penalty flag down. It's going to go against West Virginia.
And it's been a game, very much a big place here, as they call the defensive holding against West Virginia that gives Penn State a new lease on life. So far in this game, it has been West Virginia coming up with all the big plays on offense.
Now that gives them a 1st and goal. Timpson, the slot man with Daniels. Redmond in front of Thompson. Thompson to the 3. Theron Ellis, number 66, wrapping him up. Paterno trailing 41-8.
And Joe was upset there. He saw the big hole. He thought Leroy Thompson danced in the hole a little bit too long, and that's why he's sending Gary Brown.
He wants that toss play. Brown is the tail man. It's one of the base plays for Penn State. They've run it with great success over the years. You can close your eyes think of the great names who've lined up in that backfield. The Lydell Mitchells, Blair Thomas. Thomas, of course, the star of a year ago in that comeback win over West Virginia. Injured and out for the season.
How about Franco Harris and DJ Dozier and John Capoletti? They've had some good running backs.
They've had some great players, period, through the years for fraternity. Just a marvelous tradition. Struggling right now, but remember the last time they won the national championship, before they won a couple of years ago, they struggled for a couple of years before they reloaded. Here he comes, Brown, and he is hit down at the 2-yard line by Herring, number 49 from Pueblo, Colorado.
Brent, they may score here, but they need to score quicker to get back in the game. They've held the ball for over 4 minutes on this drive.
Chris Herring. Third and goal.
Trying to get the right personnel onto the field. Smith hurries on. Gash is the fullback. It'll be 3rd and goal. Gash, touchdown, his second of the afternoon for Penn State, and for the season, number 6. Another 2-point conversion coming up for Penn State.
Last time they sent a man in motion, tried to hit him quickly.
Activity continues on that Penn State sideline. Gash, who had an injured ankle, just limped off. And Redmond is back in at fullback. Timpson and Daniels are the wide men to the right. And here comes Saka. On the move, throws incomplete. Timpson did not hold it in the end zone.
Saka may have been able to run that one in, but here's the touchdown by Gash, number 11. Watch the center and the guard as they cross block, and another determined inside run by Sam Gash, playing on a very tender ankle.
So it's 41-14. 5 minutes left in the third, and we'll be right back. The reason why that 2-point conversion did not work for Penn State. Great play again by linebacker Chris Herring, 49. Watch behind him. He steps in and applies pressure, and Saka will throw it. Timpson at the other end probably should have caught it. It would have been a major league catch, but he had his hands on it.
Long scoring drive. Again, they're happy that they scored, but they just took too much time when you're down 41-14.
Penn State with the only score of the second half, and Atkins to kick it off. Napoleon is number 33, back there at the 4. Will they go for an onside this early? They take it deep. Napoleon at the 9-yard line, 20. And bolts to the 30-yard line, downstairs to John Dockery. Doc, have you found John Denver yet?
Not yet, Brent, but I'm in the locker room, and you know, Don Nehlen is a master motivator. All around the locker room, signs like this: concentrate, execute, and winning will take care of itself. Why? He's even gone so far as to enshrine the equipment from some of his former great players, like Darryl Talley, the linebacker, now with Buffalo, consensus All-American. You know, I asked one of his players what they thought about this kind of motivation. They said, you know, Coach Nehlen knows how to get our attention. Now back to you, Brent.
He is one of the best in the country. Surrounded by great football factories, if you will. He's done a job here. And Brown breaks free. Comes out to the 49-yard line. Chris Caesar finally got him out of bounds. A 16-yard run. How did Brown get free?
And it's staggering to me. He picked up a couple of nice blocks on the right side by Kovac and Smiter. But the staggering thing to me is West Virginia is averaging over 12 yards on first down. That makes it a lot easier game, believe me.
1st and 10 for Major Harris and the Mountaineers. Penn State's offense dominating the clock in the second half. Taylor, the fullback, battling out near field. There's a penalty flag down. face mask. Face mask called, going against the Nittany Lions. Fran Giannetti coming up defensively. The ball is put down at the Penn State 45-yard line.
Defense, 5 yards.
It'll be a 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers. Jamie Lamont brings the play into the Mountaineer huddle. Taylor and Brown are the running backs. Rimbert and Lamont are the wide men. Wynn, the tight end. That's Lamont. This is Brown again. 30-yard line, down the sideline, cuts inside, and finally brought down at the 4-yard line. But there is a penalty flag now. Keith Karpinski was giving chase, but there's a penalty flag down back at the line of scrimmage, and they're bringing this one back.
Even though there was the holding call, what I like about what Don Nehlen did there was come back with the same play they ran of a play earlier with success. Right over the right side, over Kovac and Smiter, the right guard and tackle.
Holding, offense, 1st down.
Take a look at the center, Kevin Koken, who's played very well all day today. He gets those hands inside and then wraps them on the outside. They call the holding there on Koken.
West Virginia penalized 8 times for 74 yards here. 4:08 to go in the 3rd. This the 1st and 20. Major Harris on the toss to Brown. Daylight down to the 45-yard line. And Karpinski, number 84, coming over to make the stop for the Lions.
And Anthony Brown picked up another nice block by his fullback, Craig Taylor. And he's one of those guys who is a great blocker because of his timing. He waits till he gets right near the defender, doesn't throw too early, and then he just explodes into his block.
Look at that scoreboard. Alabama and LSU are headed for that SEC showdown in Tuscaloosa next week. 2nd down. Harris fires hard to the far side, and a diving catch there at the 39-yard line by Rimbert. Darren Perry, number 9, with coverage for the Nittany Lions, and this JC transfer is showing us the ability to catch the ball here this afternoon.
And we've seen him catch it up top on the deep ball, and this time the short pattern. But he's a JC guy, as you mentioned, who came in with all sorts of stats, but he's lived up to them. Got tremendous height to it, can really leap.
3 catches for 62 yards. He's out of Independence, Kansas, JC. That's 18 catches on the year, averaging almost 20 yards a catch. And on this 3rd down, Harris with great time, and that time threw too hard and too high for Brown. One of the few balls we've seen him throw in that situation without much touch. And West Virginia forced to punt again. So the 2nd half has been a little different than the 1st. Lance Carrion. He'll stand near his own 45-yard line, wearing that face shield. Hangs it high. Cesar at the 7-yard line. 33-yard punt. Horrible field position for Penn State when you come back. Glorious scene in Morgantown, West Virginia. Those beautiful hot air balloons floating over this stadium. Largest crowd in history here, 66,811, and they watched Major Harris go 27 yards to make it 7-0. It was quickly 14 on a 40-yard pass by Harris. And then Bauman added a 24-yard field goal. It was 17-0. Harris again 49 yards to Phillips, and a great catch, 24-8 when Gash took it in for the Nittany Lions. Then it was 31-8 on Taylor's 2-yard vault over the top before Bauman kicked his 2nd field goal. It was 34-8 when went to the half after Johnson's 55-yard touchdown run down the left sideline. Then Gash's second touchdown, 41-14. That's where we stand as Saka brings the Nittany Lions to the line of scrimmage at the 6-yard line, 1st and 10. Brown, and this is Redmond, the fullback, and he is out to the 8-yard line.
Real tough.
Chris Herring again stepping in there defensively.
Again, Herring has done such a nice job of reading those inside guards, and the guards will tell you where the ball's going to go. He's done a nice job of following those guards and made an awful lot of tackles this afternoon. 8 on the day.
Second and long for Saka and the Nittany Lions. Smith, their lone wide receiver. And Saka will throw it coming out. He wants Smith. Down the near sideline, intercepted. A tremendous catch by Mays.
You can only play man-for-man defense if you have some athletes at cornerback, and West Virginia does. Mays plays this beautifully. Reads the go pattern right from the very beginning, gives Terry Smith nowhere to run, and then makes a very nice catch.
Mays leads this team in interceptions with 4. And he is out of Bradenton, Florida. That's a town not too far from Sarasota, Florida. On first down, here is Brown, and he runs to the 47-yard line, giving them second and short with Caesar, bringing him down for Penn State.
The West Virginia running backs have had a field day today. Brown has carried 14 times for 96 yards, and Andre Johnson 9 times for 90 yards.
The Mountaineers have yet to turn it over here this afternoon against the Nittany Lions. Inside of a minute and a half left in the third quarter, 41-14. West Virginia has not yet scored in the second half. Here's Brown again. And he may have battled his way there at the end. Yes, he did for the first down with Rich Schoenwolf bringing him down for the Nittany Lions.
Rich Schoenwolf has come hard all day long, even though his team is down 41-14.
Ball put down at the 45-yard line. Markers are moved. Look at the state of West Virginia right there in the middle of this carpet. That's what that logo is right down there. Most unusually shaped state you'll ever want to see. Here's the give to Brown. He's inside the 40 with Andre Collins bringing him down.
And that offensive line really going to the forefront now, controlling the line of scrimmage.
Well, there's the logo and the state right above it. Now that, folks, is the state of West Virginia. They seceded from Virginia before the turn of the century. I guess way out there to the right, that's probably where Cabin Creek, West Virginia is. Actually, that's where Baltimore is. You know who's from Cabin Creek.
Jerry West.
Zeke from Cabin Creek. He's enjoying this, I'll bet, out in the West Coast. They haven't seen a football team this talented in these parts since the days of the great Sam Huff. That's the end of the third quarter. West Virginia 41, Penn State 14, and we'll return after this message and a word from your local station.
Sports presents college football. Today's CFA game is sponsored by Toyota. There's quality. Who could ask for anything more? RCA #1 with the toughest critics in the world. And by Michelob. One taste will tell you why the night belongs to Michelob.
We start the final 15 minutes with West Virginia leading Penn State, and backup quarterback Greg Jones, number 7, who transferred from the Miami Hurricanes, getting loose because he figures to get some playing time in the final quarter. Right now, it's Major Harris with a 3rd and 3. And off fake, rolling to the left, firing for the first down to the 27-yard line, and Jamie Lamont.
You know, Brent, as I watch Major Harris, I'm struck by the fact that there's just few offensive limitations with him when he's in your quarterback. You can drop back, you can sprint out as he did there, you can run play action, he can run the option play, he can be a power back. He is a very versatile quarterback.
First and 10 for the Mountaineers at the Penn State 27-yard line. West Virginia has yet to score this half. 41 points in the first half. Here now is the toss to Brown. And he breaks another tackle and gets to the 28. Darren Perry, number 9, wrapping him up. Brown inevitably breaks that first tackle.
Well, he has those real big legs that we talked about. He has gets a lot of pulled hamstrings because of the big legs. But they feel he's a back. If he were healthy, he could gain them 1,200, 1,300 yards.
West Virginia's coaching staff working on the clock. Running the sweeps to the outside. Going to the option wide. Keeping it moving right now with a 41-14 lead. Major. Throwing for the end zone. Incomplete to Phillips. And on the play with the coverage with Cesar. Let's check in with Jim Nance.
Well, Brent, here's the story in Lincoln. Nebraska now leads by 8 as Chris Drennan drilled a 23-yard field goal. Missouri is 81 yards away with 1 minute and 36 seconds to go. The Tigers have the football on their own 19-yard line, trailing by 8. Let's go back to Brent.
And West Virginia fans enjoying that score. This team fell from 6 to 7. Nebraska, number 5, having to fight for its life. There could be an adjustment in the top 5. Runs that quarterback draw play up the middle, and he is down at the 22-yard line with Eric Rinke. Downstairs to John Dockery. Doc?
Yeah, Brent, I'm up here in the stands with Major Harris's parents, Sandra and Joe. Sandra, when did Major first start playing football?
When he was about 2 or 3 years old, just out of Pampers.
And what did you tell him when you were watching him from the window?
I told the older fellas, don't hurt my baby.
Well, certainly no one's hurting him today. Okay, now back to you, Brent.
Oh, field goal attempt right now. 39 yards by Bauman. Got the distance. It's good. 3 more for the Mountaineers. This Harris's baby is well right now, isn't she? Who will succeed Tim Brown? Some of the leading candidates, certainly the leader all season has been the brilliant UCLA quarterback Troy Aikman. 20-6, the Bruins ahead of a tough Washington State team today. Steve Walsh, Miami winning again. Walsh a winner throughout his career, only 1 defeat. That was at the hands of Notre Dame earlier this year. And Barry Sanders from Oklahoma State, 320 yards today as Oklahoma State rolls.
Sanders has had a remarkable year.
Wait a minute. Where's Major Harris?
We're going to put him up there next week. Next week,
I got to see my producer, Michael Burks. Get me the Major stats.
Next week, Major Harris gets in the box there.
You better believe that. Brown and Thompson back to return this Bauman kickoff. Fielded at the 9 by Thompson. And he is banged down at the 32. How high will the Mountaineers of West Virginia be ranked on the NFL today? Tune in at 12:30. Chicago at New England. The Bears take on Doug Flutie. Rams in New Orleans. The 5-star early. Phoenix and the Dallas Cowboys go at it. Atlanta and Philadelphia. You'll see Randall Cunningham. And Green Bay coming off that tough loss. Then late, there's the big one. The Vikings and the 49ers. Irv Cross went out to take a look at their quarterback situation, and we have a new quarterback for Penn State. Lance Lonigan of Westport. Hands off to Thompson. I should say Westport, Connecticut. I apologize that not everybody knows where Westport is.
You love those Connecticut players.
We don't have a whole lot of them. You know, we got to brag on them.
But Lance has been a steady player for Penn State over the years. He is a senior now, and the reason that he didn't play earlier, he injured his right thumb in practice several weeks ago, hitting it on a helmet.
John Jarek, number 34, you saw him in the huddle. O.J. McDuffie is the wide man. They bring Smith in motion for Lonigan. And Lonigan hands off to the tailback Thompson, who comes out to the 41-yard line. Clock is moving here. 12:15 remaining. It is 44-14.
You can't blame things on Tony Sacca, the tall man right there in the middle of your picture.
I want to say something about him, especially coming off of last week. That pounding he took from Derek Thomas and the Alabama Crimson Tide. He did not appear to be a rattled quarterback. He didn't fumble the ball. He didn't throw the foolish interception. He really took his licking and impressed a lot of folks in the way he handled adversity. Now it is third down and short. Here comes Thompson wide for the first down across midfield to the 48-yard line. SC unbeaten and rolling. Nebraska in a dogfight over Missouri today. And Oklahoma big. Remember way back in the first, seems like years ago, that they were in trouble. Auburn, Florida, big one in the Southeastern Conference. And Oklahoma State rolls it up on Kansas State. Indiana big over Iowa. Remember when some folks thought Iowa was number 1 before the season began? Wow. First and 10. Lonigan complete to Smith over the middle, and he is short of the first down. Theron Ellis popped him, number 66.
You know, Brent, we began to talk about Lonergan. The coaches really like Lance Lonergan. He is a guy that's been around the system for a long time. They can do a lot more with him in the ball game because he has some experience. Doesn't have a big arm, but an accurate thrower.
Now, he is somewhat limited physically. He does not possess the great physique of Sacca, but he is very quick mentally. He was a superb high school quarterback at Staples High in Westport, Connecticut. Second and short. A fine baseball player, too. Here's Thompson taking the pitch. He's inside the 30-yard line, down to the 29. And Zippy Shearer, another hometown product here from Morgantown, bringing him down.
You mentioned in Lance Lonergan, it's interesting, Joe Paterno has won championships with quarterbacks who haven't been highly talented. John Schaefer won it a couple of years ago for him. Now he has a guy, Tony Sacca, a very talented freshman who's hasn't really had a feeling, doesn't know him well enough yet, doesn't know how to push the right buttons for Sacca yet.
And the one thing he's always had, great linebackers. This is linebacker U. Wrapped up at the 29-yard line. Thompson did not fool him. That was Dale Jackson, 93, getting him on him. Speaking of those linebackers, it's been their longtime assistant coach, Jerry Sandusky, over there on the far sideline. He joined Joe's staff in 1969. From Jack Ham all the way to Shane Conlon. Ham going into the NFL Hall of Fame this year. Now it's the Penn State offense, second and 10. Pitches, and Brown to throw the option. Throws long and caught. Incomplete. Out of bounds. Smith was the intended receiver.
Gary Brown threw the option. It was the option pass. Catch it at either end. That thing had a weird rotation on it. And the free safety, Zippy Shearer, number 42, was not fooled. Again, when you're in a situation like this, your defensive coaches are telling your safeties to stay back. Don't give up the big play.
Third down for Lonergan at Penn State. Jarek, the fullback. Lonergan straight back. Brown, the intended receiver, and it was incomplete. boy, great defensive play there by Basil Proctor, number 99, third-year West Virginia player out of Miami. Let's check in with Jim Nance. Jimmy?
Well, Brent, with today's results, we can set the schedule for next week. Most of the country will see LSU visit Alabama. Both LSU and Alabama winners today, while those of you in the Rocky Mountain and West Coast areas will see Texas El Paso against Wyoming for the WAC championship. That's 2:30 Eastern time next week here on CBS. Let's go back to Brent.
All right, Jim, so we look forward to going down to Tuscaloosa. Donnie Bunch, number 1, has been one of the wide men. Lonigan back on 4th down, in his face, gets it dropped off over the middle. And number 80, Todd Young, down to the 15 for a first down before Shearer can bring him down. And they were in Lonigan's face.
And that's a great play by Lonergan. Of course, they didn't score a touchdown. It was only a 10-yard game, but great courage by Lonergan. Number 66, Ellis, was right in his face, hung in there, and dumped the ball to his tight end, Young.
Now with a 1st and 10 for the Nittany Lions at the West Virginia 16-yard line. They bring Bunch in motion, number 1 behind Lonergan. They hand to Brown. No daylight. Down at the 16-yard line. And Mike Fox, number 61 out of Akron, Ohio, bringing down Joe Paterno's back.
Look, Mike Fox, he's bleeding there from the forehead. He looks like he's going to make the All-Madden team maybe in a couple of years. But one of those guys who just plays real hard. Doesn't have a lot of ability, but plays hard every down.
Lou Codian, our stage manager, just exploded when I mentioned Akron, Ohio. That's where he learned how to play golf. On 2nd down, they run behind the left side of that offensive line that time and get to the 11-yard line. Gary Brown, the ball carrier, on the handoff of Lonigan. Now it's going to be 3rd down.
And there is a silver lining for Joe Paterno in this game, although they're getting beaten badly. The offensive line has done a much better job this week, Brent, I think, of opening some holes for the running backs.
They have to get inside the 6 for a 1st down. Off a play fake, Lonigan running to the right. He gets in. Lonigan scores a touchdown for Penn State.
And you have to be happy for guys like Lance Lonergan. He will never play a down in the National Football League. He dreamed of playing quarterback at Penn State. He's come from Westport, Connecticut, and gotten the opportunity and played well here when he's gotten the chance.
I can just hear all the boys exploding at Mario's. All of Lance Lonergan's fans who have been waiting for this ever since he went to Penn State.
And their 3rd 2-point attempt of the day.
7:44 to go. 44-20. Lonigan sends Smith to the right. McDuffie out wide of him. Brown and Sherrick are the running backs. Lonigan back over the middle, and he hits him for the 2-point conversion. Terry Smith out of Monroe, Pennsylvania.
Again, nice touch by Lonergan. He threw that ball through a lot of traffic. Let's take a look at the touchdown here, as on a 3rd and 6, he faked the boot, naked boot, showed the little speed and athletic ability, then he takes a big hit in the end zone. It's a nice run by Lonergan. And then the 2-point play. Watch all the traffic inside, a little slant route, throws it low away from the defender for 2 points.
There's still a lot of time. 7:44. We'll be right back. Auburn and Florida, the winner there will bounce in and make it a 4-way tie, and 2 great games coming up in the SEC. Next week we'll be in Tuscaloosa. It'll be LSU and Alabama with a championship now very much on the line in the next few weeks. Auburn and Georgia still with a big game. The rest of you next week are going to see UTEP, the University of Texas at El Paso, go into Laramie, Wyoming, and play those unbeaten Cowboys, ranked number 10. What a marvelous scene that will be. Here now, we've got 7:44 to go. 44-22. Auburn ahead of Florida by a field goal in the 2nd quarter. Well, I have a moment. I certainly want to thank the SID at West Virginia, Shelley Poe. She did a great job down here in helping us out with all our information. And then up at Penn State, Bud Thalman, the Associate Athletic Director in SID, and his assistant, Peter Kowalski, who is moving to Rutgers this month to become their SID. We want to wish Peter all the success in the world. Two fine schools going at it here this afternoon. West Virginia had everything their way in the first half, and now Penn State showing a little life. This is Napoleon, 20, 25, 30, 35. Downstairs to John Dockery. Doc.
Thank you, Brent. You know, there's a half a dozen Bowl Scouts here, one of whom is Mike Doherty from the Fiesta Bowl. And Mike, understatement to say that you're interested in West Virginia?
West Virginia is for real. They have a very exciting football team, and we're very interested in them. They're high on our list.
Did you imagine they were this good?
We've seen them 2 or 3 times before, and we knew they were this good. Some people said they might have a little light schedule, but no, they're for real. They're this good.
The ideal matchup, Notre Dame and West Virginia?
We would be very interested in that. If they both end up ranked very high, we'd be very interested.
Thanks, Mike. Now back to you, Brent.
Thank you, John. That was the new quarterback, Greg Jones, handing the ball off to Undra Johnson. Now, Jones is out of Miami. Johnson from just up the road in Fort Lauderdale. So now they turn it over to Jones with the prospect of a Penn State miracle. This shows you how much confidence they have in this young man.
Well, he's got a big-time arm, but with 7 minutes left, believe it or not, Penn State still can come back. 3 touchdowns would do that. A year ago, they came back with 9 minutes to go to win the game over West Virginia.
Here's the option. Jones down the line, pitching to Johnson. He got it behind him. That allowed Andre Powell, number 95, to whack him down.
Greg Jones, it's tough luck on this guy. He backs up Vinny Testaverde at Miami, transfers to West Virginia. At the time, Major Harris was redshirting, so he didn't know about him. Finds out that he's here and he's a superstar, and he's going to be sitting behind him for a couple more years.
Remember, Don Nealon told his team it's 0-0 at the half. If so, they're trailing here in the second half. Penn State's got 2 touchdowns and West Virginia only a field goal. Time remaining. This the third down. And Jones rolling to the right to throw it. First down at the Penn State 49-yard line. He hits Phillips, number 82.
We talked about him having a shot arm. That ball was a frozen rope to Calvin Phillips on the run as he rolled out to his right. That's a tough throw to get a lot of juice on it, but he did.
Phillips with a big-time afternoon. 4 catches for 114 yards for the Mountaineers. 2 wideouts to the left. Lamont to the short side. Evans for protection stays in, and Jones is down at the 40-yard line with Fran Giannetti sacking him. Number 85, the junior, gets in, and a big defensive play for the Nittany Lions, who are not quitting even though they were hammered in the first half.
And Frank Giannetti, they believe, he's only a junior, but they believe he is going to be a very good pass rusher. There he put a nice play on Greg Jones to put the stop and the sack on him, but he always comes hard. He's got a good outside move.
Remember who the first linebacker was at linebacker U? Dennis Onkotz. That's right. That's back in the late 60s. So many great defensive players since then at Penn State. Phillips in motion. Jones directly back under pressure again. Throws high because he was being pressed by you-know-who, number 75, Rich Schoenwolf, the junior from Philadelphia.
Again, I give these defensive linemen from Penn State a lot of credit because they are still down 44-22, but they are coming hard every play. Even on the passes, they're getting upfield. It's been a long afternoon for them, but there's no quitting them.
Now it is 3rd and long. 21 yards for the first down. Rimbert goes in motion behind Jones. And they'll run the draw with Napoleon. 45 down, maybe short of that first down. Oh, he's way short of it. I was looking at the original line of scrimmage, so they'll have to punt it away. Keith Karpinski and Mark D'Onofrio bringing him down.
And the leading rushers, you see A.B. Brown and Undra Johnson, really a strong 1-2 punch. Major Harris getting his yards primarily on the option plays. Remember, he had the 27-yard touchdown run off the option in the first quarter.
A 10-man front for Penn State. They'll come hard. Carrion gets Gets it off. This is Smith back deep. Takes it on the big hop at the 15-yard line. Out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Lance Lonigan and Penn State will have the ball trailing 44-22 with 4.5 minutes to go, and we'll be right back. 44-22, West Virginia leading Penn State. 4:25 to go. The running backs, John Jarek and Leroy Thompson. Jarek is 34. Lonigan, who replaced Saka, again the quarterback. And he used the fullback with Theron Ellis taking him on. Let's take a little break here and present this week's Toyota Leadership Awards to those who've been singled out by the coaching for outstanding performance in the area of team contributions, academics, and citizenship. And today's winners are Steve Wisniewski from Penn State, a marketing major out of Houston, and John Stroya from West Virginia. He's a finance major out of Canton, Ohio. Toyota donates a check in the amount of $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund. Second down and long. A little bit of razzle-dazzle, and Penn State is short of the first down.
O.J. McDuffie on the end around, the freshman wide receiver that Joe Paterno thinks very, very highly of. Again, trying to get any way to come up with a big play. The screen passes, the reverses, they've run fake punts. But again, the West Virginia defense has really been equal to the task today.
Joe Paterno needing 3 yards on this third down. He's outscored West Virginia in the second half, 14-3. Lonigan going complete, first down to Smith at midfield. A fabulous catch by number 8, Terry Smith, 5'8", 150-pound sophomore out of Monroe, Pennsylvania.
And a nicely timed leap. He was well covered by the Mountaineers. 2 men right there, but makes a nice jump at the right time. A lot of times receivers won't make the leap at the right moment, but Smith did there.
Darren Fulton and Zippy Shearer had the coverage. Paterno telling Smith, nice catch. Lonigan has the Lions in midfield. And off a good fake, Lonigan crosses the 45 to the 43 with Steve Grant bringing him down. 2:59 to go. Time working against the Nittany Lions. Let's check in with Jim Nance.
Well, Brennan, the Pac-10, number 1, UCLA sweating it out against Washington State. Rich Swinton has just scored for the Cougars, trimming a 27-6 deficit down to just a 7-point difference here in the third quarter. USC, 2 touchdown passes from Pete, 2 field goals, a 13-point lead, and Arizona State on top of 20th ranked Oregon. Back to Brent.
Thanks, Jim, and won't the ratings be something this week? 2:30 to go. Lonigan hands it off to Thompson, who battles his way inside the 40. He has a first down with Scott Summits bringing him down.
West Virginia has won so many games this year by large margins. It's allowed a lot of second-teamers to get a lot of action, and it's going to make them very good down the road in the fourth quarter, and a good team next year as well, particularly because they have Major Harris coming back.
We said to Joe Paterno, I don't know if we're going to see you in South Bend. We might be doing Oklahoma, Nebraska, and he said,
well, happy to have you guys not there. You bring us bad luck. Pat and Brent, he's 0 for 3 with us.
First and 10, and Lonigan off the fake, straight back. Throws, open, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Penn State. He goes back to Terry Smith.
And all they really need is the extra point here. They should go for 1, down by 21 before they scored.
They needed 3 scores.
No,
it doesn't appear that they have much time.
They're going to go for 2, and they're going to have to try the onside kick.
I should say enough time. It's 44-28. Now, there will be an onside kick very definitely at this point, inside of 2 minutes. Now, on the carpet, you can get that high bounce. They're going to go for the 2 when all they needed really was the extra point and a couple of... Now Lonergan is going to call a timeout. He looked at that defense. Pat, I'm a little surprised about the mathematics here.
Yeah, we said this long ago. They needed 3 touchdowns and 3 extra points to win.
Yeah, let's take a break and see what happens over on the far side. We'll be right back.
Bob Shaw, the defensive coordinator for West Virginia, was talking to his defensive team, trying to keep their heads up.
Hey, don't worry about it. We got to get the next play. I don't care about it. Say, if they go to unbalanced, get over here, let's go. They go unbalanced on us, we stay with our man coverage, except one guy's going to be what? 3. That's right. So you look for anything coming in.
And when
Penn State deciding to go for the 2 in this situation. Lonergan 4 of 5 for 84 yards and a touchdown. He also has run for a touchdown. This is Brown, picks his way for the 2. Makes it 44-30.
And I don't understand the mathematics there, but nonetheless, they did get the ball in, and now they will have to try the onside kick.
Well, some folks will understand the mathematics. It's 14 West Virginia over Penn State right now.
Here's the 2-pointer. They came out and changed the formation after they went over the sideline and went from a pass actually to a power run into the short side of the field. And here is the touchdown that set that play up. Lance Lonergan, with some pretty good protection, finds number 8, Terry Smith, who's got very good speed and outruns the defense.
Now will be the time for the onside kick. And what you try to do on a carpet is to hit the ball a little bit higher than you normally would on grass. You try to get spin and a high hop and flood them down on one side and see if they can get a quick turnover. They've got just inside of 2 minutes to go. A 14-point West Virginia lead. At the half, it was 41-8. So a great tribute to the Penn State coaching staff in that the Nittany Lions did not quit here this afternoon in the face of a superior West Virginia team.
And Brent, talking about the onside kick, talk to any kicker or coach, the key is to be able to get 2 bounces, not just the 1. You need 2 bounces, then the ball pops up, and your team should be there by then.
Now Eric Eats, 99, onto the field for the first time for Penn State. He is better at the onside kick. So he has replaced Atkins. The scoreboard shows 3 timeouts remaining for Penn State. They are down to 2. Now watch the second line for the return team, how close they are. Wide receivers and running backs, you can see them there on the left side of your screen. You get the players with the best hands in tight. 1 deep man at the 5. Must go 10 yards. He chips it right over his head, and it'll be down right there by West Virginia at the 25-yard line. So next Saturday, we'll split the country. Many of you here in the eastern part of the nation will view and battle for SEC supremacy. 4 teams going for the title, and then out west you'll watch unbeaten Wyoming. How good are those Cowboys? You'll find out next Saturday at CBS. We know how good West Virginia is, but Penn State came right back at them here in the second half. 44-30 now. They're sticking with Greg Jones, the backup quarterback. They work Napoleon straight ahead out to the 31-yard line with Eric Rinke, 88, tackling him. And the clock stopped at 1:44. Now that leaves the Nittany Lions with 1 timeout remaining. And while we got a moment, let's take a look at a fine university, West Virginia, here in Morgantown. Pretty as a postcard. And certainly everyone on this crew has enjoyed their visit here to Morgantown. Right now, Jones brings the Mountaineers to the line of scrimmage with this second down. Ball at the 31-yard line. And they hand it off again to the tailback, and Napoleon breaks free. He's free at midfield. He'll go for the touchdown. Jersey City, New Jersey, salts it away. Bauman adds the extra point.
And Eugene Napoleon is the third-team tailback, but he is fighting just as hard as the first two teamers. He really should have been tackled after about a 5-yard gain, but again, he's got strong legs just as the two guys ahead of him, and then he's also got some great speed.
51-30. And coming up tonight on CBS. Dirty Dancing, Simon and Simon, and West 57th. That's the lineup. Celebration here in Morgantown, and the students now begin forming behind the left end zone. Folks, the goalposts will fall.
It happened in 1984, the last time they beat Penn State here.
To the mountains of West Virginia. And now some careless individual tosses a smoke bomb onto the field and is quickly retrieved on the sideline. Smoke beginning to clear here at the left. And the PA announcer warning students not to go down on the field, and Joe Paterno with that smoke bomb out there has pulled the Penn State team over to the far side. He's talking to the officials.
He just wants the clock run now at this point, I'm sure.
This smoke bomb is causing a little havoc with the fans right below me.
It's absolutely ridiculous and silly that someone would do that. I don't know what the purpose of it is, other than it's a nice yellow. Goes with West Virginia's colors.
Well, the last time that any team scored 50 points on Penn State was back before the end of the war. Lonigan throwing complete. That was to Todd Young, his tight end, and Lance Lonigan has done a superb job coming off of Joe Paterno's bench. This is the most points that a Joe Paterno team has ever given up. You've got to go back to 44 and the Naval Academy when they had some great athletes there. Lonigan down the far side, and into smoke and haze. It is caught again by Terry Smith.
And Lance Lonergan has really given this team a lift, fighting very hard right to the end. Good chance he'll get a chance to play next week against Maryland. I think both these coaches have a very difficult time getting their teams ready to play next week for different reasons.
1:11 left in the game. Penn State with a first down at the West Virginia 18-yard line. Sherrick, and he battles his way down to the 12-yard line.
Wow, look at that.
Washington State is a good football team. Make no mistake about that. Is that game up in Pullman or is it Los Angeles?
It is in Pullman, and Washington State can score some points on people. UCLA has a pretty good defense, and Oregon State's not a bad team either.
Minute to go, 51-30, and timeout was used here by Penn State. That was their last one. And while we've got a moment, let's go to Jim Nance. Jim?
Well, Brent, another team ranked ahead of West Virginia struggling today is third-ranked USC. Here late in the third quarter, Oregon State's quarterback Eric Wilhelm fires the touchdown. Only a 6-point lead for the Trojans late in the third, 20-14. And again, number one, UCLA all tied up after an 81-yard touchdown pass, Tim Rosenbach to Tim Stallworth, John Stallworth's cousin, covering 81 yards, ties it with 12 seconds left in the third quarter. Let's go back to Brent.
All right, Jim, in the final minute here, 51-30, the students being forced back out of the end zone as Penn State comes down, attempting to put in still another touchdown. And Lance Lonigan has been extremely impressive here this afternoon. Under teeth of a rush, he throws incomplete. Now, McDuffie was cutting, but he didn't have any time, so he threw the ball out of bounds. That was Basil Proctor, 99, coming at him, and you can see some of the difficulty they're having in keeping the students back until the game is over, not allowing them out onto the field.
And you don't blame them. Great enthusiasm. At halftime, some of the students were saying we waited 30 years for this kind of game. And it's got to have some sort of effect on the polls, particularly with Southern Cal and UCLA struggling.
Now, fan runs onto the field. They'll get him off. Exhibitionist will be cleared off the field. Lonigan will take the opportunity to get him back in the huddle now, and they'll regroup and get ready to go. So if they just keep that enthusiasm in check now for another 57 seconds, let the players get off the field, then they can have it to themselves. But there's still some time, and Penn State doesn't want to quit firing. They deserve that.
Now, remember 1984, I think they had to call the game with 36 seconds remaining when West Virginia was winning for the very same reason.
Smith and McDuffie are the wide men. Deflected that time. Couldn't get the pass off. Mike Fox, 61, helped lead the defense against Lonigan.
Brent, I mentioned earlier, I think the biggest challenge these teams have is the coaches getting their teams ready. West Virginia goes to Cincinnati, a team they should beat, but you worry about the emotional letdown. And of course, Penn State, after getting beaten up badly the last 2 weeks, plays Maryland.
54 seconds, a fourth down for Penn State. Ball is at the West Virginia 12-yard line. Sherrick and Brown are the running backs. Lonigan tackled at the 24-yard line. Number 13 rolled on in. Tim Newsom came in and brought him down. And the students pour onto the field. And it is unlikely that the final 49 seconds will be played. And that's too bad, because the goalpost is gone in the left end zone. I mean, it's gone. And the Penn State players are going off the field, and it's just too bad. Let's hope that all the players get off. Down to John Dockery. Doc?
Coach, can you describe what this means to you and to the West Virginia program?
Well, this is a big victory, but, you know, the game's not even over, and our students are acting kind of childish, if you ask me, but it's sad. I'd like to finish this game.
You're certainly proud of your team, though, the way they played.
Oh, they played beautiful. We lost our momentum the second half. We got so far ahead, nothing seemed to, you know, we couldn't get any rhythm back.
Well, congratulations to your coach. Now back to you, Brent.
All right, John, thank you. Joe Paterno has taken Penn State off the field with 49 seconds to go. The Mountaineers are still standing on their sideline. The goalpost on the left end zone is down. A couple of the Penn State players coming over to shake hands, and it is really too bad that the end of this fabulous afternoon is tarnished as a result of this. Many in the crowd, the sellout crowd here, are booing, and now Paterno wants his players in that locker room. And he wants them off the field.
Yeah, and Brent, he was upset in '84 as well.
You guys take care of the crowd. I'll take up my team.
Paterno fighting for his players, making sure that none of his players are out there with the crowd, and telling the law enforcement officials to worry about the crowd, and he'll be concerned with his own players. And you cannot blame Joe in this particular situation. I know it's a great moment. They're really enjoying it, and it's just too bad that they kind of spoiled the end of this. We'll take a brief break and come back. 51-30 is our final score, and we'll be back to Morgantown in just a moment. Major Harris of West Virginia, Sam Gash of Penn State. Chevrolet gives $1,000 to both of these fine schools. West Virginia wins it 51-30. Next Saturday, it's Alabama and LSU. Tomorrow, the NFL at 12:30 Eastern Time. Pat Hayden, John Dockery, I'm Brent Musburger. So long, everybody, from Morgantown.